So to get started, there are some people that when we put these videos on YouTube, it's literally watched around the world. Like it'll be watched in 115 countries, and people watch for different lengths. Some people watch the entire time. Some just check it out. So assume that there's someone that is watching this. They've never seen you before. They don't know who you are. And after your opening comments, they're leaving and they're not interested again. And you have 3 minutes to sum up the most important things you've learned in life up to this point that you want to make sure they know. So for someone that is saying, I don't want the long story, I'm not reading your book, sum it up in 3 minutes. What is the most up-to-date, accurate, urgent information that you feel you want someone who's watching this video to make sure that they understand? Each of you could answer that.
Ocean, you're on that side. You're closer to the question.
Okay.
We get
no pressure. We have a toxic food culture. Feeling sick, having a high likelihood of dying of heart disease or cancer or dementia or suffering from type 2 diabetes may be typical, but it doesn't have to be normal. We now have more than 10,000 studies published in peer-reviewed medical journals, which tell us in no uncertain terms that we can radically extend not just the lifespan, but also the health span of millions of human beings just by applying what we already know. We need to eat less sugar and processed junk. We need to eat less animal products, particularly from factory farms. We need to eat more whole plant foods, and we need to more consciously source our foods by going organic, non-GMO, fair trade, and local. And when we make these kinds of changes, we make a powerful difference for our own health and well-being, and also for the well-being of the planet that we love. Every bite you take, every dollar you spend is a vote. You're voting for the health you want, and you're voting for the world you want. And so I want to invite you and challenge you to make that vote an informed vote and a conscious vote and an intentional vote. I used to take martial arts, and in martial arts there's this concept of being centered. When you're centered, you can receive an impact and you don't fall over. When you're off center, you do. I believe that when we bring our food choices into integrity with our values, with our conscience, with our love, with our dreams, with our aspirations, our life takes on an integrity and a potency, and we become a force to be reckoned with. So I want to invite you to get informed, get empowered, and most importantly, put this food revolution into action so that you can have the health and the vitality and the joy and the vibrancy that you were born for and that you deserve, so you can give the precious gifts you're here to give and live the light you are here to live and share it with the whole world, because we need you. We need you healthy and well, and the right food choices can help you make that happen.
That was very eloquent. Nice. The whole way I look at life is about evolving spiritually, and eating at least an 80% live food, 100% organic, 100% plant-based diet is a powerful pillar to that. And you can't eat your way to God. So we kind of have to keep that in mind. And so the evolution and revolution of consciousness really does involve waking up physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. If you don't have a properly functioning brain because you're eating processed and junk food, then you can't really attain your total purpose of being here, because your mind and brain isn't going to work as well. So eating this way that we're talking about can truly be a vehicle for elevating your consciousness. That's very important. When we go organic, and I'm going to say plant-based only, we are also ending cruelty to animals. We are making an incredible increase in overall health, 32% less heart disease. In terms of diabetes, 35 to 50% diabetes, and it goes down the line. So that's one piece. It also helps the planet, the ecology of the planet. Going plant-based, actually, even the United Nations and the World Health Organization has made it clear that that is the way to preserve the ecology of the world. So we're helping in many areas, and it is, as I said, the most important diet for supporting our spiritual awakening. So by eating this way, by living and living this way, our lives are ways to be a blessing to uplift the planetary web of life. So I bless you all that you are willing to really go for it, to uplift yourself and uplift the planetary web of life on this planet. Amen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Smith, and for the last 23 years, I've been traveling and visiting 45 countries and interviewing dozens of scientists and doctors, and all about why GMOs are actually dangerous and how the industry and government have covered up the dangers, giving the impression that it's just food, but it's actually food-shaped objects that are quite dangerous. And about 15 years into my work, I was getting people telling me that they could actually tell the difference if they eat a GMO or not. And I was skeptical. I have to admit it. I had been talking about massive damage to rats, for example, in just 10 days on a GMO diet. And yet when people told me that they could tell the difference, I didn't believe them. But I had the good fortune of bringing the documented health risks of GMOs to the medical profession. And at one conference where I had spoke for 3 previous years, I showed up with a video camera. And I started interviewing the doctors, and many of them were prescribing non-GMO diets because of the lectures that they had heard. And they did not speak like scientists who are very conservative. They said GMOs cause inflammation, GMOs cause my patients to have more allergies. One woman said, I have all my patients go non-GMO and they all get better. And I was a little skeptical. I said, what percentage? She said, I said all, 100%. Okay, 98%. I said, how many patients have you prescribed a non-GMO diet to? She took a while and figured it out, and she said 5,000. So I said, can I go to your clinic and ask the patients myself? And I brought a video camera and I did it to her and to other places. And sure enough, the stories were amazing. And around the same time, I was visiting the farmers who had changed their pigs and cows to non-GMO, and their stories were amazing, and they matched. So I started asking audiences at 150 lectures, what did you notice when you switched to a non-GMO and largely organic diet? And sure enough, I got the same answer 150 times, including medical conferences where doctors talked about thousands of their patients having the same results. A whole slew of diseases and disorders get better. Then I surveyed 3,256 people, published it in a peer-reviewed journal, and sure enough, 28 conditions were reported as getting better, significantly better, and the same general frequency as the results I got in the lecture. And these were the similar problems that pet owners and veterinarians and farmers saw getting better in pets and livestock switched to non-GMO or organic. And these were the same problems, or their precursors, which were found in lab animals that were force-fed GMOs and the Roundup that sprayed on most GMOs. Now, if you look at it, there's actually more than 30 diseases rising in parallel with the increased use of GMOs and Roundup in the United States. Serious diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, deaths from hypertension, deaths from obesity, different types of cancers. But if you look at each one of the diseases, you could find a plausible causative pathway linked directly to GMOs, or the Bt toxin insecticide produced by GMO corn, or the Roundup herbicide sprayed on most GMOs, and you can take a look at the modes of action of those things and even predict that these particular diseases and disorders would be affected, either produced or exacerbated. So now we have a body of evidence that has convinced thousands of doctors to prescribe non-GMO diets, and here's the challenge. Please, when you go non-GMO and organic, and go all organic, not just non-GMO, because Roundup is now sprayed on a bunch of non-GMO crops, when you do that, take notes. Write down your symptoms and their severity, your energy level, your mood, behavior. All of these things have been shown to change, and see what happens after a few weeks. That will be far more convincing than anything I can say. Safe eating.